Several surface-to-surface missiles were intercepted by Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt today. These missiles were fired by Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. For the moment, Israel are trying to figure out how to retaliate. All the way from Yemen and over the Red Sea, the Israeli aerial defense system named Arrow was able to intercept the missile. Mind you, the Arrow is different from Iron Dome. The Iron Dome intercepts short-range, smaller rockets, while the Arrow is built for the bigger surface-to-surface missiles. It's become obvious that the war is between Israel and Iran. Iran are fighting through many proxies: Hamas, Hezbollah, and Houthi rebels. Of course, you are aware that the Houthis are fighting against the Yemeni government and other regional allies for quite some time now, so they are different from the Yemeni authorities. They are backed by Iran. So can Israel really fight on these fronts at the same time? Remember that they've bombed Aleppo airport and other targets in Syria of recent. The US Carrier Strike Group, which is sailing around the Eastern Mediterranean, is supposed to be a deterrent to any group or country trying to join the war. But it seems many Iranian proxies are determined to join and escalate the war with Israel. The US Strike Group is up to the task though. This Iranian container crossing from Iran to Syria received the perfect warning.
هذه الشاحنة محملة بالبلاط والسرني.
Now to Israel versus Hamas war in Gaza. After yesterday's rescue of an Israeli hostage by the IDF in Gaza, they seem to be more motivated that they might rescue more hostages in Gaza. It is estimated that Hamas are holding more than 200 hostages, who they hope to exchange with all Palestinians in detention in Israel. But the Israelis are not buying the negotiation talk, especially now that they have boots on the ground in Gaza. They believe they can rescue them. The bombardments coming from the Israeli fighter jets, drones, and tanks are taking a huge toll on Palestinians. Innocent lives are being hit. It's a pity. On one hand, they say that they are trying as much as possible to avoid civilian casualties. On the other hand, you see pictures coming out from Gaza. The Israelis feel they must end Hamas now in order to avoid a repetition of the atrocity Hamas executed on 7th October in Israel. On the side of Hamas, they still continue to fire rockets into Israel. Israel has an advantage because they have the Iron Dome that intercepts Hamas rockets. On Hamas side, they've got tunnels. One would expect that these tunnels would be used to save lives, but we'll come to that in a moment. In the ground invasion of Gaza today by the IDF, they struck a Hamas outpost and other points where they fire anti-tank weapons. It resulted in dozens of Hamas casualties, it was reported. They also seized many types of weapons. In fact, according to the IDF, they reached the hard shell area of Hamas. That's that Hamas made on 7th October in Israel. The Israelis will never stop until Hamas no longer exists. And for many who think that Hamas did this for the freedom of Palestinians, well, it doesn't look like it is. They didn't consider the consequences of their actions, that Israel must fight back and it will obviously lead to loss of lives of innocent Palestinians, which is a pity, and Hamas is actively preventing them from evacuating from northern Gaza, while Israel is urging them to evacuate. Also, one Hamas official by name Musa Abu Marzouk said that Hamas tunnels were built to protect Hamas fighters, not to protect civilians, that the protection of civilians is the responsibility of the United Nations. Let's take a listen.
البعض يتساءل، وهذا سؤال رائج وشائع، يعني من قام بتشييد 500 كيلومتر من الأنفاق، لماذا لم يشيد مآوي يلجأ إليها المدنيون خلال القصف؟
نحن شيدنا الأنفاق لأنه لا نملك ما ندفع به عن أنفسنا من القتل والاستهداف. هذه الأنفاق من أجل أن نحمي أنفسنا من الطائرات، نحمي مقاتلين من الأنفاق. أما القطاع غزة فأنت تعلم والجميع يعلم بأنه 75% منه لاجئين، واللاجئين هو مسؤولية الأمم المتحدة في حمايتهم، مسؤولية الاحتلال في أن يقدم تبعا لاتفاقية جنيف الدولية أن يقدم لهم كل الخدمات وهم تحت الاحتلال.
So on the Israeli side, they build bomb shelters to protect their citizens from Hamas rockets. In Gaza, Hamas has a network of tunnels, but they wouldn't shelter Palestinians inside these tunnels to protect them from Israeli bombs. With this, you can understand that these guys don't care about the well-being of anybody except themselves. A Saudi journalist, Abdulaziz Al-Khamis, explains it succinctly. Credit to memory for the subtitles.
وصلت أخيرا إيران إلى الساحة واستغلت حماس لمصالحها. فحماس هي أداة، فقط أداة. اترك عنك الكلام عن العقيدة والتحرير وطوفان. وين راح الطوفان هذا؟ 10 كيلو داخل إسرائيل، ولا هذه المقذوفات اللي يرسلونها؟ في النهاية الدمار الذي يلحق في غزة دمار لا يمكن أن يحتمله أي شخص. هذا الدمار سبب غباء السياسة، غباء حماس وغباء قادة حماس، وزي ما قال حسن نصر الله إنه لو كنت أعرف ما فعلت. فبالتالي اللي بيقولونها حماس بعد إيش؟ لكن هالمرة لن تكون كما فعلت إسرائيل في لبنان كما يبدو، هالمرة تكون باستئصال حماس من وبالتالي إفقاد إيران. المسألة ليست ضد هؤلاء المسمى حماس ولا الجهاد، المسألة أبعد من ذلك، هي حرب إسرائيلية إيرانية ضحاياها أطفال غزة. لو كان هؤلاء رجال قادة حماس ولديهم ذرة من الإنسانية لما جعلوا أبنائهم وأطفالهم ونسائهم وقود لمعركة هم أدوات فيها. بعدين أنك تدخل على كيبوتزات ومناطق قروية وتحجب تأخذ عجائز ونساء وتذبح وتحرق الجثث وتغتصب وتسمي هذه طوفان الأقصى. الأقصى أشرف وأطهر من أنك تستخدمه في عمليات مثل هذه.